I want to start off, Martin. Can you talk about your journey so far, man? Like you've had some tremendous amount of trauma and hardship that you've had to overcome, man. But can you take me back to when it all started?
Shit. Oh man. T- it's interesting because it's not just like the physical trauma, it's also the mental trauma and the emotional traumas that really affect especially things like performing on a mat, or whether it's on your way to practice, on your way to train, or on your way to competition. So honestly, like day one it all started. It really started with the physical, let's see how things are going to work. I was in a bad car accident and I was burned about 18 years ago. Fresh out of a fire, having skin grafts, you don't know how tough they're going to be. Unfortunately, skin grafts are a little more fragile than your regular skin, your regular dermis. So the difference between this elbow and that elbow is a lot more protection, right? So I don't know how it's going to react when I fall to the mat and my elbow twists or turns on the mat. Is it going to bust open? Well, yes, it will. It will bust open. So after all this time of like, my elbows constantly being busted open, taping them up, and then still trying to train, soaking through, bleeding through, getting a nickname in the gym. Oh, you're the DNA boy. Like just shit like this is just kind of like, well, fuck, is this going to have to be the rest of my life? Am I going to have to face this shit? So then it starts becoming this like traumatic thing. Well, over time, you start building the calluses. Over time, you start dealing with the shit mentally, emotionally, physically. You start understanding how your body can work. So then you tailor your techniques to prevent the same bullshit from happening to you again. And so, yeah, it's really been a tough journey. It's really been a tough
Mm.
journey. I did a couple of like super fights and shit in the cage. Took a guy into the cage. He hits a standing switch on me, and my head goes right into the fence. I fall to my knees, and the next thing you know is like the skin off of my skull just scalped itself.
Fuck.
In mid match, my adrenaline's going. I'm just like, give me some mat cleaner. I clean it up, and let's get this shit
Mm.
started all over again.
Yeah.
So it's tough, dude.
Yeah, man. No, I can imagine. So what happened, man? Can you take me back to the car accident? What actually happened? What do you remember about that?
This is interesting too because it took me a while to like recollect all of these remembrances. So it was like my first year post high school. I'm 18 years old. Uh, I didn't know you had to apply to go to university. I just thought I was like gonna go to Harvard after school or something like this. Like I had no fucking idea. I knew I wanted to continue wrestling. I started wrestling in high school. I did fairly well, and it was about November of 2007, and the season hadn't even started yet. I remember we were lifting and practicing, but I never even had a competition in junior college. They were at the time like the number one junior college in the nation, Bakersfield College, and I trained hard. I didn't study too hard, but I definitely partied hard, and it was just the young dumb life that I was living. Um, One day we were partying out by the lake and we got a little wasted, and it was always like, let's go to this next one. Let's keep the party going. Let's just turn up more. And, you know, we decided to get in the car and take off. Well, people were trying to stop us from leaving this house party, and we ended up getting in the car anyways. So it was the driver, myself as the passenger in the front seat, and then my other buddy that was sitting behind me. We drove fast and dumb, as kids. We're going around the mountain range, and once you pass this mountain range, you pass one stop sign, and then it's all straight ahead. It's like my city from there, all highway from there. Well, we approached the stop sign, and instead of stopping there, we started accelerating, and we almost T-boned this car. Funny thing is, the car we T-boned, our almost T-boned, was He ends up being one of my jiu-jitsu coaches, and I found this
Oh,
out years later. Yeah. He told me I knew something bad was gonna happen, but I kept going, and then it finally got to me, so I turned back around to come see where you guys were headed, and he said, "By the time I turned back around, your guys' car was in the air."
shit.
The driver went on a little suicide mission, saying desperate words, "Fuck my life, fuck everything," and me and my other buddy were like, "Slow the fuck down or let us out, or what the hell's going on?" You know? We didn't think like, I don't know, I thought he was my friend, we could talk him out of this, and he veers onto oncoming traffic, yanks on the steering wheel, we hit the embankment, him and my buddy fly out of the car. I told my homeboy that was sitting behind me to hold on, told him to sit the fuck down and hold on, and when we started spinning out, he tied his, left arm around my headrest. We hit the embankment. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt, flops around like he's the most inebriated one. Zero injuries, maybe scratches. And my homeboy that's sitting behind me flies out of the windshield, tears all of his like tendons and ligaments out of his shoulder, lands on a hill, kidney ruptures, brain shakes, internally bleeding and all that. And I was wearing my seatbelt. I went for the tumbles and turns and smacked into a tree upside down. Gas line ruptured. My left arm was trapped, and I was basically just inside of this car trying to survive. Um, Smacked my head on this dashboard, fractured like third and fourth vertebrae in my spine. It was just a race from there. Some pedestrians pulled up, tried to see what they can do. Pretty much couldn't get me out. My buddy that flew out of the car even got up to try to approach the car to see, even though he's internally bleeding, to see if he can come get me. I just remembered like this one moment of like, I'm fucked, I'm pinned, and I got this disgusting feeling in my stomach like I am not getting out of this one, you know? And it was pretty much a race from there. On site, I went to this hospital that was like the hospital that I was born at, really. I went there and they essentially told my family, they told my parents to arrange for my funeral. Thanks to the belief and support of my mother, rest in peace to her now. But thanks to her belief, she was just like, you don't know my son, he's gonna make it through this. Well, they didn't have a burn unit here in my hometown, so they had to take me about 2.5 hours away to the nearest burn unit. Died a couple of times on the way there. Ended up going to Leon S. Peters burn unit in Fresno, California. Was in a medically induced coma for about 2.5 months. Um,
Shit.
Had probably over 3 dozen surgeries. Um, I remember what I call like waking up from my coma about 2 days before my 19th birthday, and yeah, it was a race from there.
Yeah, fuck, man. That's hectic, bro. And how much of your body was severely burnt, Martin?
So, 30% of my body, basically just from like my torso here, and then like just my chest, and then my face. So pretty much my neck was pinched and saved, and I was just in there burning up. I burned this part of my hand trying to like cover my face.
Yeah. Shit. And
Yeah,
what was the very first thought that you had when you woke up and you realized you were alive? And what was running through your head, man?
it's interesting because I couldn't process shit with my brain. All it was like sensations. So I didn't understand what these sensations were. All I remembered was a constant like ring sound from the sirens that were happening in the burn unit. I remembered I had bandages all across my face and they were bloody and I could barely see, anything. But what I could see was just all shades of gray. I couldn't
Mm.
see colors. I thought, you know, I just couldn't see colors. I remember like just going on these crazy trips, like probably hallucinating from the drugs, and it just took me so long. But I remembered, my mother never left my side, and she would always tell me every day, like, "Hey, son, like, you were in a bad car accident. You got burned pretty bad. You lost your hand. Your face is burned up pretty good. But one day this is gonna be a story to us." And I remember her repeating this. So it just that word kind of like prepared me for like, okay, we have some work to do.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. And the treatment, man, I can imagine was, would have been just hard. It would have been difficult, man. And
Uh,
those days when you were bedridden, but then coming out of bed, what was the whole treatment process like? How did you handle that?
yeah. So I was probably getting poked and they were extracting my blood probably on the hour every single day. That just became like, a numbing sensation for me. I had a feeding tube in my stomach that basically was like, here are your fibers. This is how you're going to get fed your calories for a while. I had a trach in my throat. So any kind of like deep laughter was like, some kind of weird sensation. Um, Getting out of the hospital bed and actually first learning to bear weight on my legs, that was nuts. Coming from the wrestling background, all I knew was how to work hard, push through the pain,
Mm,
and embrace the suck. And fortunately, I had a good PT, and she was just like, "It's half a step down." For me, when I look down, I see 50 feet. I have one eye, and I'm also tripping. Well, she was like, "Go slow.
mm.
Just put your toes to the ground." So barely like inch my way off of my bed. I'm thinking I'm gonna fall 50 feet to the ground. And I touched the floor, and then I remembered feeling that like, okay, there's pressure there. There's pressure there. Put my whole bare foot and I lifted up off the bed, and then I nearly almost collapsed
Shit, man.
because your body's just like in fatigue. It couldn't bear. And that little exercise took so much energy. I just like slept for like another day and a half before I even attempted that again.
Mm,
Then it became, all right, well, today you stood up from the bed. Tomorrow, you're going to take a step away from the bed. Then you're going to take another step after that. Then you're going to walk to the door. And slowly but surely, I made it, you know, from the bed to the door 2 times. Then I made it
mm,
from the bed to the floor, and I remember going, like, outside, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck, this is a burn unit, like,
mm,
I'm out here." And then it was like, "I could do this, I could do this." So then I started walking down the hall in the burn unit and going back, and then it was, like, down the hall twice. Then it was, like, down the hall a few times, and then they were like, "Hey, this guy got it." They would open up a wing in the burn unit for me to go until I tried to escape. Then they were like, "We can't let his ass go past that door anymore," you know? For me, I'm like, "I got this. I just need to get the fuck out of here."
yeah.
And I remember walking with my sister and I was like, "Hey, these stairways, right? If you just drive up right down there, go get the car, honk twice, and I'll go meet you down there." And it was just like always impossible, but I
Mm,
didn't want to be there. I just wanted to get back to my life. I wanted to start feeling strong again.
yeah.
Um, Once I was able to, start hitting the gym, hitting the weights, my bicep was like probably the width of like my 2 fingers, maybe. I had a piece of plastic molded like a C with a piece of Velcro to strap it to my arm. And every day in the gym, I'm sitting there hitting bicep curls every fucking day, hitting 100, just so that I can get a bigger bicep, bigger, stronger. And it was always just a journey. As healing happens, you're constantly requiring caloric intake. So you're eating a lot and staying hydrated's tough. So then you're constantly like trying to drink right and like maintain your electrolytes. Then it got kind of difficult, like because I started wrestling in a club again. So I'm like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like just trying to drink water, electrolytes, but I'm trying to lose weight, make weight, that sort of thing. Um, but it's been a roller coaster for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
There wasn't a
100%.
blueprint for me, you know? There wasn't a
Mm,
blueprint for me, but just like anyone else, there's not really a blueprint, it's all about just kinda figuring things out.
yeah. And, were you angry with your friend, Martin? Were you pissed off? Were you, frustrated? You would have had all these mixed emotions, man.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. It would have been in some hypothetical world, it would have not been a good thing for him to see me ever in public, you know?
Yeah,
I was very angry to the point where it started, like, consuming my life. Every day I'm on edge. If someone bumped me, touched me, looked at me wrong, it was just like I was on edge. Um, I probably had some darker times than that, you know? Started with, like, I don't know, getting pretty bad with, like, the alcohol and the medication's tough to kick sometimes, you know? So I kinda went through that whirlwind, and it really helped me finding motivation. Um, I walked on, like, a a club wrestling team. I just went and checked it out, and one of the guys that was there was the guy that beat me my junior year in high school to go to the state wrestling tournament. So I kinda remembered all of a sudden these triggers and the competitive nature starts coming back to me, and I remembered him, and I'm like, "Alright, you're gonna be my teammate. We're gonna train every fucking day, and I'm gonna give you as much hell as I remember the day I lost to you." Tried
mm.
to rip a tree off, you know what I mean? Tried to rip a tree down, and trust me, we banged
Yeah,
it out
yeah,
every single day. Brian Askew, if you're watching this, bro, I got you last.
yeah. What was the hardest part, man, about rebuilding your life and starting all over again?
Damn, that's tough. That's interesting. You know, I had an identity as an 18-year-old. I was relatively secure with my, like, physical body, my strength, you know, mental fortitude was there. But I think the hardest part for me, and this might sound like weird, but I think everyone goes through it, is like, you know, the emotional struggle, the shit that triggers you. You asked me about anger and pain and hate. Like, I truly, truly had hate. I had hate. And that was probably the most hardest thing to deal with because, you know, I had to figure out what I truly wanted in my life. Like, was hating this dude and, like, aiming for him every day, was that gonna serve me? Or, like, was that gonna fulfill my life, you know? Uh, it that was the hardest thing, I think, dealing
Mm,
with that, getting the mindset right, and that's one thing that I'm trying to do with this organization that I'm starting called Make a Move, and
mm.
it's like, you gotta cultivate the power of mindset because that shit will take you far, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And talk to me about that, man. The
Yeah.
Make a Move organization. What's the go with that?
Yeah, so Make a Move has a lot of components to it, from speaking engagements, podcasts, vlog series, promotion, production. I'm really trying to work with a lot of things. The premise behind it is I want to do my best to, like, redefine able-bodied people while I'm doing this in some kind of organic way. I wanted to, like, instill those invaluable life lessons, taking ownership, you know, having those positive impacts, like not being a fucking complainer, you know, doing action through movement, not words, you know. Um, these kind of things really, I think, cultivate the power of mindset. And so that's this one thing I'm really trying to do. Um, in my community, you know, in a burn community very heavily. I'm in an amputees community very heavily, and for me, this is like, if I can serve these people anyhow, it's gonna be by providing, like, at least thought-provoking insights. Not I'm not here to motivate anyone, bro. I'm not here to inspire anyone, but if they can see something and think twice about something, then maybe I did my
Mm,
job, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And how did that experience too, Martin, change your perspective on trust and forgiveness?
shit, dude. That's deep, bro. That's deep, man, because this guy was my friend for 6 years before that time,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, my mother never left my side. Like, she moved 2 hours away and just basically stayed in a whole new town, and I know some people don't get that opportunity. But instead, what I had to realize was I'm focused 90% on the hate and the anger towards something when there's people that are giving their lives to help me better myself that I'm not even acknowledging.
Mm.
So it was like there's certain things that I have to pay attention to, certain things that I shouldn't pay attention to, or certain things that I need to address so that I can carry on with my life. You know, one of them puts you in a halt, and one of them can get you further and make you better. And yeah, it's not the easiest thing, but with trust and shit like this, it's just like it's tough, dude. It's tough sometimes. It's tough sometimes, but what I really had to do was be secure with myself, forgive myself, and know who I am. You know, obviously, I learned boundaries, so I didn't necessarily let anyone into my life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard, man. It's super difficult, and
Yeah.
I think for anybody that's gonna be listening to this, we're all gonna go through hard times, man, and 90% of everything we take in is fucking negative, and how were you able to sort of channel that and focus on positive things in your life? Because that's fucking hard thing to do that a lot of people struggle with is they continually complain about all the shit that's going on in their life when really it doesn't fucking matter when you should be focusing on the little things. How were you able to sort of focus on the positive things in your life?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you're absolutely right. People do fixate on little things, and sometimes those little things are way detrimental to them as opposed to something so huge to me. So I realized sometimes when I was younger, like sometimes if I had like a little fucking pimple or a little scar, I would fucking probably wouldn't go outside. I'd be like, oh well, the girls are not gonna want me, so I'm just gonna stay away. Well, now I can't avoid this shit. Am I gonna stay inside the rest of my life? Well, I had to see the world. I got to go see some shit, do something. So really to face myself, I had to build up that courage to be honest with me. My life is different. My face is
Mm.
different. My body physically is different. But is that going to be like the detriment to me? Am I going to just have this existence and then just stop right here just because this happened to me? You know? Um, but one thing that really helped me a bunch too is like, I don't know, training jits, you know? You have experts in control. At a certain level, you just become this expert at control. At any point in time, someone has a heel hook on you that are leg lock specialists, they will wreck your shit probably for the
Mhm.
rest of your life. And they
Yep.
know they could, but they won't because it's not about that. It's about training, getting better. And that kind of instills this sense of like, okay, this person kind of is looking out for me in one way or another. Maybe he's not, but at least he's not fucking breaking my leg.
Yeah.
He's giving me another opportunity. Is kind of like a humble thing, like a humility. So I definitely say like jujitsu's like helped me a shit ton. Every day, it's almost like a humbling experience. You get the pizza boy choking you, or I mean, I don't get choked, but yeah, it happens sometimes. But whatever, you know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's an amazing art. Martin, like I love jujitsu, man. I've been fighting for over 30 years. And the thing about jujitsu, man, is everybody can do it. It doesn't matter. You're short, tall. We were just talking off camera about John Jacques Machado, who was one of the most famous jujitsu practitioners from the Machado family, who I think are cousins to the Gracies. He was born with only his pinky and his thumb on his left hand, but he's learned to adapt and mold his game. And yeah, how have you adapted your game, man? We were talking just before briefly about your
yeah,
overhooks and things like that. But how? And previously, you've had some wrestling experience too.
yep, yep, yep. So you know, yeah, John Jocks is he's a fucking superhero.
Mm,
Superhero. I actually started training under an affiliate school from him. Um, it's interesting because, as a wrestler, when you approach grappling or jiu-jitsu, you still kind of have that same wrestling mentality. You don't want to go to your back and you want to have pressure come forward. This is still today's day. This is still my game,
Mm,
but I'm now comfortable on my back if I have to be, you know. But there's certain things from wrestling. Let's say you get in a front headlock position, you can snap someone down, chase the back, or you can snap someone down and do a cow catcher where your arms going under them like an underhook. You have a chin strap and you're flipping them to their back.
mm,
You know,
mm.
certain things like that. I've dislocated my shoulder trying this. So my shoulder was like burned to the bone, basically. Like all whatever muscles I have, I worked very fucking hard for them. You know what I mean? But it's like there's not too much there that's like supporting me from downward pressure as I'm trying to go up. Ankle picks or like knee taps, any kind of cow catcher, like my shoulder's gonna come out. It's happened to me uh, in competition. It's happened to me in training. And it's just a matter of like, well, shit, who in this crowd knows how to put my shoulder back in the spot because I can't do it right now. And
Mm,
I've tried and I've actually been successful and gotten right back into the training.
yeah,
Um, unfortunately, as someone that has endured burns and has skin grafts, unfortunately, any kind of friction is going to tear that up. Well, jujitsu is fundamentally a ground game, so there's
yep.
gotta be a lot of friction. Like, you probably can't go one day in jujitsu without touching your knees to the ground or your elbows to the ground or maybe even your head or rolling over. And so some of these things created friction in spots that I never thought would, last, and I get busted open. Look at all this scar tissue, like, this
Yeah.
is scars on top of the scars on top of the scars on top of the scars from being busted open. Um, you know, the tripod in wrestling, like, my skin basically will just rip off of my skull. I mean, in time, I have to adapt. I'm like, do I want a tripod in this moment, or do I wanna, like, really hip heist very quickly and then come out the top or scramble or whatever the case may be so that I prevent this from happening, you know?
Mm,
So there's a lot of positions that I'm now like more focused and cognizant on that I try to avoid or I'll try to approach. You know, you talk about John Jocks, we talked about the whizzer, the overhook. That's a huge component of my game. I'll even up
mm.
the playing field. Maybe I don't have a hand to grip you here, but after I whizzer you, you're also not gonna have a hand to grip me.
Yeah, yeah. And, you're a purple belt, is that right?
Yep, correct.
Amazing, man. And how many years have you been active in jiu-jitsu now?
Oh man, so it's interesting because I did like 2 years, 2.5 years at one school, and then I moved for school. I did another 2.5 years and moved again for school. And all this whole time, restarting as a white belt, even though I came from like a junior college wrestling, club wrestling. Um, and then yeah, I just started again. So probably a total of shit. I don't know, man. I want to say maybe like 13 years, 13
Wow.
years, and at least a few, if not more than, you know, 3 months every so years for the first 4 years because of surgery. That was a lot of math. I don't know why I said it
Yeah.
that way, but
Yeah. No, you're
surgeries
right,
took
man.
me out, bro. Surgeries
Yeah,
took me out. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like the recovery, coming back from, uh, anesthesia, like, this is not good stuff, dude. Putting like, as many times as my brain's gone out, like, that's and probably to me, like, the equivalent of getting knocked out over and over and over and over again. It's not too good
Mm.
for the brain.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what about rolling, man? How has rolling been for you?
Ah, rolling like training rolling, right?
Yeah, yeah, with obviously your skin and how it's been able to sort of develop that resiliency
Yeah.
and, but, do you still have those days, man, where sometimes, does the skin get a bit uncomfortable or
Yeah, It's very interesting because I never someone asked me this. I was doing a talk at a hospital, and someone asked me this, like, what are some of the noticeable differences from being a burn survivor in the grappling arts? Well, yeah, sure, everyone is susceptible to, contracting staph, ringworm, these
Mm,
sort of things. You've been in it
mm,
for 30 years. I'm sure you've had it many times, maybe.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Regardless of if you take care of yourself and you have good hygiene. Unfortunately, I have donor sites, and a donor site is where they harvest your skin from your body to put it other places that are burned so that it can generate more skin in a faster way. I have donor sites on my thighs, and I don't even like to say this, but maybe they're not as strong or durable to defense against bullshit,
yeah,
bacterias. So if I get staph, it's always on my thighs from the
yeah,
like, around those donor sites. So that's one thing. It does get uncomfortable, it does fucking get uncomfortable. Then you gotta take time off, you know? So now I'm lifting instead of, like, rolling, and I wanna fucking roll, you know?
mm,
Being busted open. Fortunately, I have a tape sponsor, War Tape brand. Fortunately, because if I do get busted open on my elbow or on the tip of my nub right here, like, I'll just fucking tape it up, make sure there's no blood leaking, and I'll get my ass right back in there, you know?
mm,
Put some tape over the Band-Aid, and I'll get right back in there. These are kind of things that I just one person might just be like, "Oh, well, I can't train. I have a cut." And I'm just like, "Well, fuck that. I'll tape it up and get my ass back in there. I'm not
mm.
dead, you know?"
Yeah. And
Yeah.
normally too, Martin, like jiu-jitsu schools are pretty good, aren't they? Like, you'd think so anyways. They'd have strict sanitization rules and practices and what they do. But unfortunately, man, it's just the nature of the game. Yeah, fuck man, that's hard too. And do you roll mainly no gi or do you sometimes roll gi or what's your sort of preference?
Yeah, sure. I started in the gi. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. I love it. It is fun, but I do prefer no-gi for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think the practical reason there's not really too much gripping going on.
Mm,
Um, I mean, if there's like, I'm gripping bones, but yeah, I do prefer no-gi. And recently, I've strictly been training no-gi. Um, One of the reasons is also I have one hand, and you can already see like my joints of my hands, they're not the best joints.
mm,
And this is all I got, bro. So if I'm here all day, gripping all day, even if you're maybe you can succeed in gi and not grip, but it's you have to at some point grip someone,
yeah.
and it just seems like it just does so much damage when someone's like, "Whew," ripping my grips off. It does so much damage to my hand, and at some time, I'm just like, "Well, fuck, my thumb's not working." And if your thumb's not working, that's all your grip power, you
Yeah.
know? And so, I mean, I'm sure you can do like hooks and stuff like that, but it's not the same. It's not the fucking same. I went to go see a hand surgeon. He's like, "Dude, you got arthritis nodes of like a 90-year-old man." So I'm like, "Well,
Fuck.
how do I prevent this from happening?" He's like, "Well, stop doing jujitsu." And I was like, "Oh, fuck you," you
No,
know?
fuck that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, fuck you. But yeah, so it's just like I'll focus on no-gi. I compete in no-gi. I mean, the last gi tournament I won gold in, but
Wow.
that was
That's
just like
amazing, man.
that was like a blast double and then just like smashing the guy from the top, and like
Wow.
a couple of passes, So I guess I could have that game, but it's like these people are doing some ninja shit, and apparently like I got to step my game up. The technique wise has to improve. It has to do different things as well,
Yeah.
and yeah, I definitely prefer no-gi. All of that just to say I like no-gi.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And your chokes, man, like, are you able to sort of modify some of the chokes? So you're saying did you say you get a lot of front headlocks, guillotine variations? Like, have you tried things like, Japanese neckties and that kind of stuff? Like, how have you sort of found with the choking stuff?
100%. This is my bread and butter. Front headlocks, guillotines, I had a friend of mine that was like, hardcore into ninja chokes, and I was like, "Well, I like the guillotine, but it is a good feeling when you stick your arm in deep on a ninja choke and you just, choke the hell out of someone."
Wow, ninja
RNCs,
choke, man. That's awesome.
yeah, RNCs are a little different, especially when someone has hands to hand fight, but
Yeah.
I got plays and setups to where I'm gonna psych you out.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss the choke arm. And when
Yeah.
I sink in the choke arm and you go to defend it, trust me, the other one's following.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah. Modified Ezekiels, that's always fucking cool. Um, Most people will come here to here, like gable grip their hands. I don't have a hand to gable grip. So here it's gonna slip off. But if I come here and it slips
Ah,
off, I can come here. But if I come here first and I'm choking you, I'm probably gonna get it. I'm
yeah.
probably gonna get that choke,
And that'd
you
be
know?
a lot tighter too. Hey, Martin, like if you're
100%.
grabbing your elbow, man, like the neck is obviously this big, but then you're gripping it like that. Yeah, that's going to be way tighter.
Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
anyone sort of like pulled you aside in class and just said, "Hey, man, I really like what you're doing with this"? Because I think that's kind of unique too. Like, I mean, I do guillotines this way, but I can imagine, yeah, gripping your elbow like that would be 10 times better.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. One of your guests, Jordan Worth
Mm,
and Jake Shields, I learned a shit ton from these guys, and they're constantly like, "That's gonna fuck
yeah,
people up. That's gonna fuck people up." They're like, "Hey,
yeah,
try this out, try that out." And so I've worked a pretty good game. I got a bunch of other coaches that have given me fruit, Rich Castro, Nick Johnson. They're just constantly like giving me these thought provoking ideas of how I can do shit with my body, and they're like, "We don't know, but it's going to be up to you to figure it out because we don't
yeah,
know what you feel. We don't know your leverage. We don't know the strength. But, dude, people are always like, "Oh, that's a weapon. That's a weapon." And in my head, I just initially think, "Well, you chop your fucking hand off and then you come tell me if that's a weapon or not."
yeah.
I'm a weapon. This is not a weapon. I just learned how to use my body the right way.
Yeah. And that's it, man. Like, I think jujitsu is a science based martial art where you have to problem solve. And the beauty about jujitsu, man, is it's a puzzle where you have to piece together certain moves that are going to work. And that applies very much into life too, man. I think the way that jujitsu is able to mold you into a person that's able to problem solve is fucking unique. How have you been able to sort of apply jujitsu and what you apply on the mat into your own personal life?
Damn, damn. That's it's almost like a symbiotic relationship, applying what I've learned in jujitsu and to my personal life or my personal life into my jujitsu. And honestly, it's almost one and the same. Like I feel normal when I'm in the gym. When I'm out
Yeah.
in the world, I'm like, what is this fucking place?
Yeah.
Sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just like when you have burn injuries, sometimes you lose sensation over things. You can't feel certain things. And your body dissociates so that you don't necessarily go to those traumas anymore. It took me a long time to not feel phantom pains. I was in so much pain that even my limb that was gone was in pain.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Until I had to like reprogram my thoughts, desensitize my nerves. You know what I mean? And figure that out so that, you know, when I know, all right, I'm under the chin like this, but it's grinding in there, like, okay, that doesn't fucking feel good. So in like the personal and the private world, I'm like, all right, well, if I had to punch somebody right here, like that might not do so well. So like, let's
mm,
adjust. But I mean, not that I punch people in the private world, but I was just trying to think of the application.
yeah.
You know, shit, dude. It's what they call it, proprioception, where you're able to relearn where your body's at, relearn how to use your appendages and your digits. I have 30% burns. A lot of this scar tissue I can't feel until there's pressure.
Mm.
Now I can feel it. I can't feel that. So it's just I don't know, man. It's just like understanding how my body works, how my body feels. You have those like certain sensations, those like erogenous zones, if you will,
Yeah.
you know. Some people have issues with that shit. So I have to like
Mm.
explore it and figure it out, as a man.
Yeah.
All right, well, that
Yeah.
feels good, you know?
And you know what I love about jujitsu too, Martin? It puts life on hold, man. Like, you could have a fucking bad day. You know, your boss is giving you a hard time. You've got relationship problems. I don't know. You've got kids. Kids are acting up. You can just put that on hold, man. It's like a bit of a mindfulness activity. You know what I mean? Like, you get in there. Like, for me, man, like when I'm rolling with another black belt, I'm not thinking about work or stresses that are going on. I'm too fucking worried about my neck getting strangled. You know what I mean? Yeah,
That's right.
it's a meditation, like, you just put your life on hold, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Really
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
100%. And when you experience exactly what you're saying, like, this is the hardest part of my day. Everything else in the
Yep.
world is fucking easy. So when I'm at the
Facts.
grocery store and this yeah, God forbid there's minimal people like this, but when this piece of shit person comes up, wrecks their cart into the back of me, like, does some horrible shit, whatever the case may be, it's just like, they have no idea. They have no idea, but they're probably the kind of people that are kinda gonna come at me with this trivial shit in the world, and I'm just like, they have no idea. They have no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And, Martin, most people too, man, break after trauma like yours. Why do you think you didn't?
Oh, shit. I mean, there's many, many reasons, man. I think that wrestling background, it was always like, well, let's work, let's work. There's no excuses because the mat's really gonna tell the truth. So for me, I'm like, it would be untruthful if I just surrendered now. And I was like, I can't do it because my hand is gone. I can't do it because my eye is missing. I can't do it because I have one ear, you know? It would be a lie. It would be dishonest. There's zero integrity, zero respect. And for me, it's just like, I have to figure this shit out. I have to figure this out. Ah, that what I just said was one reason. There's two more reasons. Another one, I'm the youngest of 8 total. I have 7 older siblings. They would whoop my ass if I gave up, you know? Secondly, my neighbors in the burn unit. This was huge. As I'm coming to my senses, I'm starting to be a little bit competitive with myself, pushing the physical therapy, trying to get healthy again. Whereas every single night I'm hearing these screams and these cries and these sirens, and I'm taking a rest, and fortunately, my housekeeper, she would come into the room and she would talk to my mom a little bit. I wasn't communicating. I'm still like absorbing things. And she would give her like little updates about my neighbors in the burn unit. Oh yeah, his surgery didn't take, and oh yeah, he tried to fight the doctor and he wants to escape, and he's crying about how he wants to die. And I'm sitting back and I'm thinking like, damn, his surgery didn't take. He wants to die. They're both still here. I'm still here. I'm standing, I'm walking, but I'm not crying and I don't want to fucking die. Like, let's not cry, fucking embrace the suck, and let's fucking live. Let's learn how to live, And so for me, it wasn't always like, oh, I'm this unbreakable human being. I've had fucking tough times, bro. I've been fucking sad. I've been depressed, I've been in the dark, dark places. But, like, there's always been some kinda light that's, like, allowed me to know that even if I'm by myself, I'm not alone, and there are people that, wanna support me, and some people don't have that support system, but for me, that's, like, a humongous component of why I will never break.
Yeah. You said something interesting there too, Martin. You said, "Let's learn how to live." And for anyone that's listening that has hit rock bottom and they feel like they're completely helpless, they're literally sinking and they don't see a way out, what would be some advice that you could give to them?
Oh, shit. This is tough, man. This is fucking tough, dude. It's tough. I can't tell a person, "Hey, this is the game plan. This is how you're gonna succeed. This is how you're gonna find happiness." All I can do is share what I've learned, and if there's someone, like, listening right now, do your best to find that balance indoors, outdoors. Get the mind right, get the soul right, get the body right, exercise, breathe. Don't hurt yourself, don't hurt other people. Find that passion, figure it out. Like, I don't know, maybe you don't know what your passion is. Just try doing things. What brings you, this like happiness or pleasure or like think, write, journal, read, like just fucking do something.
Yeah. If that crash had never have happened to, man, who or where do you think you would be today?
Holy shit. Dead or in jail. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. I say that because, I was so close to being dead. I'm not a criminal. I don't think I would go to jail, I don't know, man. I don't know. I definitely would not be this person. I I had minimal empathy. Now I don't know. I just like there's too much things that I care about now, I care about things. I value things. I value my life. I probably would have been just some piece of shit, like selfish and didn't care. I don't know, some womanizer. Like, I don't know. I probably would have been some fucked up person.
Mm,
Maybe not in athletics anymore. I don't know.
mm,
The thing
yeah.
is, like, I've always had this competitive mind. So I for sure would have like, somehow tried to engage and be a better person, but it probably wouldn't have been as accelerated as it is now, you know?
Yeah.
Now I'm faced with this shit every fucking day. I can't hide from this. I can't run, you know?
I've a mate of mine, Martin. He's a jiu-jitsu purple belt as well. He's a good friend of mine. We've been training for a long time. He's also a life coach. And he said to me once, he said, bad things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And I extracted that. I'm thinking, fucking hell, man, he's right. The things that happen to us that are bad, and at the time they're hard to comprehend. You think to yourself, why me? Why is this happening to me? What the fuck did I do to deserve this? But everything in your life, man, up until this point has molded you into someone that's kind, compassionate, empathetic, has a story to tell, and is able to create a positive impact. As hard as everything that's happened to you, man, and all the shit that you've had to fucking deal with, is there some part of you that's grateful?
Every part of me is grateful for everything. And I think, I don't think, I know that, I talked to you about changing the mindset,
Yeah.
cultivating that power mindset, focusing on more positive things, addressing the negative, but then not letting it run 90% of my day. Maybe today's 50%, and one of the big components of that was gratitude. Am I in a hospital that has technology to take care of me? Yes. Well, I know someone that was fucked up and burned in another country that didn't have shit. They stuck his arms in dirt, they cauterized him with a piece of metal. He had all kinds of, infections and almost killed him, well, there's some kind of gratitude right there for me, like, well, shit, at least I'm not there, And it's not like, let's pick out the worst case scenario so that I can feel better about myself. It's just about what do I have, what's in front of me, and how much do I value it? How much does it mean to me? How meaningful is that?
Mm,
And so when you start focusing on gratitude, your brain starts rewiring itself. You start understanding life in a different sense. You grow those passions and man, this is why it's tough for like, people that are depressed, like I wish I had that answer for them. People that are drug addicts, like it's fucking tough. It's tough. But you just have to start. You got to start with that. being mindful, and it's not an easy thing to do. It takes fucking years,
Mm. Yeah.
The exercise, the breath work, like all these sort of things have been like great avenues for me to get myself where I'm at.
Yeah. And you know what, too, man? We've got a bit of a mental health crisis going on right now. When we know the stats, we know firsthand that men are 3 to 4 times more likely to take their own lives compared to women. And I've had close friends of mine that have taken their own life. And it's fucking hard, man. We all go through that period in time where we feel helpless and we don't know where to turn to. And for you too, man, I think you're a great role model for a lot of these people, especially men in two. You know what it's like to go through the hard shit. And for any men that's listening that feels a bit suicidal, that's depressed, what are the actions and habits you think would help them?
Yeah, man, this is tough. It's tough because this is close to home. Condolences for your losses. It happens to a lot of people, and that stat is pretty clear. Like, it's close to my home too. The suicide stuff. I do peer support for burn survivors, and unfortunately, sometimes I hear this directly from the source. And it's just like all I can do so much is like feel for these people and just try my best to relay, like, dude, like somewhere deep down, I mean, it doesn't even have to be deep down, but for sure there's light in you. Like you're engaging this way because there's some kind of light in you. If you didn't have this light, we wouldn't be engaging. We wouldn't be talking about it. Like, unfortunately, if you truly wanted to go, you would go, but you're not. And you're here right now. Like, give yourself that love. You got to give yourself that permission to take a breath, to have your space. Fuck, man, it's just too close to home. It's just
Yeah.
I just wish like people knew that they're loved. They're loved.
Yeah. I forget the individual's name, Martin. There was a guy that jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and he survived. And he said in an interview, the moment his hands left the rail and he landed in that water, I think he broke his legs as well. And a lot of people don't survive, like the countless suicides and jumpers that have jumped off that bridge. Many people don't survive, but he survived. And he said, instant regret, man. He said, his whole life fucking flashed before his eyes. And I wonder too, man, if a lot of people are in that same position, they feel like there's no way out. But there is, isn't there, man? Like, and I think you're a perfect representation. You're a perfect example of everything that's difficult that has happened. There is a way out, isn't there?
Yeah, man. I just this is almost like, people ask me, "Oh, yeah, so when did you start making movement?" It's just like I didn't just start it, like you just kind of live that way. And it's just like it's not about surrendering. It's not about stopping the attempts or figuring out different avenues to succeed. It's just like you got to put one foot forward. If this door doesn't open to the glory land, well, let me fucking back up. Let me try this door. It's not always going to be upwards motion. Sometimes you're going to have one step backwards. It's just like, man, I don't know, just surrender's tough sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
this shit feeds on you, it grows on you, and it's just like sometimes people are not stable enough in their head to like bring themselves together. It's not the easiest thing for everyone. Um, is it? I wish people gave themselves that power back, like instead of
Mm.
surrendering to it and letting worldly things or stress or depression or stuff that they shouldn't worry about, instead of letting that like build on them. Like, I wish they just gave themselves that power back to like, I'm me, I'm here, I'm present. Let's
Yeah.
figure shit out. Sure, times are gonna get tough. Sure, you're gonna be stuck. when you wanna move. Sure, you're, gonna spin when you wanna go straight. Just because it's a detour doesn't mean it's the end or a dead end, you know?
Yeah. What do you reckon is one belief people need to let go of if they want to live a happier and more meaningful life?
Shit. One belief that people need to let go of if they wanna live happier or meaningful. Man, this is interesting. I've never been asked this question. I know there's a lot of just instantly the first thing that comes to my mind is when I hear people say I can't, or when I think of people saying I can't. It's just like, mm, you know, I can't and I won't, or I'm not. To me, this is kind of synonymous. Like, sure, maybe I can't like jump off of my roof and grow wings and fly away. Like, okay, yeah, like in a practical sense, sometimes it just, it's just like, again, letting go of that I can't mentality, letting go of the blame mentality. I think that's humongous. When people blame, it's huge. It's like, take ownership of your actions, take ownership of your words, take ownership of your surrounding, make the sacrifices to make those changes if it's not fulfilling your life, you know? So I definitely think the blame and the I can't and that surrender mentality, I think that has to go. People have to get rid of that.
Yeah. And how do you stay grounded, man? How do you focus on what truly matters in life when things get painful or chaotic, bro?
This is not easy, dude. Like, sometimes I'll have multiple days in a row where I'm just like stuck. I'm stuck. I'll give myself a day to feel it all. But then I remember, and it hasn't always been this way, but now I'm starting to be more responsible with it to the point where I recognize this is not a good trend. I don't want to fix it right now, but I'm going to give myself this time to soak in it, to figure it out. Then afterwards, I know there's actions that need to be taken. Those actions sometimes lead from like, maybe it's getting outside. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's lifting some weights. Maybe it's training some more, you know, training at some capacity. I've had injuries and shit where they've taken me out or like, busting up my knees or surgeries that are just like debilitating or I literally
Mm,
cannot train or I won't train. There goes that cannot. But it's like, okay, your fucking ankle is broken, but is your arm broken? It's not. So start lifting some fucking weights, hit some dumbbells. Oh, sure, that was like pressure, but could you do one? All right, cool. Go back to it again. Do one later. You know, there's always something that can be done, I think.
mm.
Finding the balance is just like, you know, feeding the heart, feeding the mind, feeding the body.
Yeah. Yeah. And if listeners were to walk away from this conversation, what do you hope or wish that they could take away from that they could start implementing in their own lives?
Damn. You ask some hardcore questions, man.
I
Like,
do,
I'm
man. I
just,
go a bit deep, bro. I
bro,
do.
this is fucking deep. This is fucking deep.
Yeah.
Uh, and here's the thing that I will always say I don't have the remedy to live the perfect life, nor am I trying to do that to people. Nor am I here to try to inspire people or motivate them to, you know, fucking, you got this type shit. Do I believe they got it? Yeah, I do. At the very least, I'm here to give you some thought provoking ideas of different avenues you might see the world or see life. If there's any kind of takeaway, it's like, don't give up on yourself. Make a move. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt anyone else. Um, Fucking take ownership of your actions. Take ownership of your thoughts. Give yourself the give yourself that luxury, that privilege of like having that relationship with yourself, having those internal dialogues. Like, did I really mean to cut that person off in traffic, for example, or did I really mean to call that person a bitch? Like, figure it out. Like, have those internal dialogues, question, ethics, your morality, question these things, read, do some research a little bit, like it's, this is like the beginning of the rest of your life. This was never too late.
Mm. Yeah. And when are you coming to Australia, man?
Fucking soon. As a matter of fact, my friend from Australia just like texted me the other day. Actually, this morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you been to
Yeah.
Australia before?
Never.
Oh, fuck, man, you'd love it. Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you a beachy kind of person? Do you like the beach?
I like the beach. I like the beach.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Not bragging, man, but we have some of the best fucking beaches in the world. So I'm in Brisbane. Brisbane's here. You got the Gold Coast, which is down. You got the Sunshine Coast. It's man, if you're in surfing, sun, it's beautiful, man. And we really do take Australia for granted, you know? We really do. But you'd love it.
Yeah. Well, this is like what the area where there were all those tragic fires and a lot of sharks, right?
You know what, man? We have seen a few shark attacks, but I think in general, man, we're pretty safe. Like a lot of people do worry about the snakes and the spiders and all the venomous animals that we have over here, but
Yeah.
you're more inclined to get into a car and have a crash. You know what I mean? Like that's more likely to happen than
Yeah.
fucking being bitten by a snake. But yes, we do have some of the most venomous animals on the planet, but there's nothing to really worry about. But do you go around to schools, Martin? Like, do you speak at schools or corporate events? Do you speak on stage and give motivational talks, man? Because I think you'd be fucking fantastic at that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, again, so like when I hear these words like motivational and inspirational, it's just like that's maybe it's not a pressure. I could wear that. I'll wear it. And if someone's like, "Yeah, you're inspiring," like, "All right, great." Like I
Yeah.
appreciate it and I respect that. But I will always say, like, I'm not here to do that. I'm just here to share my experience in the world. And like, obviously, this is what you're gonna take away from it. To
Mm.
answer the question, yes, I do, and yes, I have. I've gone to universities. I've spoken at businesses. I've spoken to camps. Spoken at charity events. Yes, I have, and I do.
Yeah.
I typically don't market myself that way, but I'm going out of my comfort zone with Make a Move, and one of the components of Make a Move is speaking engagements, is doing things like this, putting myself out there, my words, my thoughts, my ideas, everything that I've worked on in my life, you know.
Mm.
But if it makes it that much better or in a better position for someone else, or again, just thought provoking for someone to witness this or hear me say this, then it's like I did my job.
Yeah. And to
Yeah.
be honest too, man, a lot of people are fed up watching the news. They don't wanna hear the news anymore, man. It's too fucking bad. It's all negative, and this is why Trump did so well in elections, because he jumped on Joe Rogan's podcast and sat down and there was a lot of engagement. Like, people wanna listen to podcasts, they wanna listen to insightful people, they wanna listen to people that have been through hardships and then also can tell other people how they got out of that. You know what I mean, man? Like, people want to listen to people like yourself that are resonating and have a story to tell, but also there's there's a way out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And I
Mm,
think I think I have a fundamental agreement with this because one of the things about Make a Move that I will always say is like it might not be inspiring, it might not be motivational, but it will be real and it will be raw regardless.
yep, yep.
And this is something that I will always hold true to. And I think this is like for me, this is everything because of that reason. No one's gonna want, I mean, maybe some people will. Me personally, probably not. I probably won't want to sit back and like listen to this person like giving me this hurrah morale type stuff. Like, bro, show me who you are.
Mm,
Show me who you are. Talk to me about those demons you got and how you overcame them or what you do to carry yourself in your life daily. Don't give me this hurrah stuff, especially if you don't live by it.
mm.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. This is just my opinion. So for me especially is like I put myself in these environments where, let's say if I'm at a conference or a convention, I'll go out and I'll socialize just so that I can have those organic communication, organic conversations with people, because that's where the real interaction and the real impersonal, like deep, deep soul touching happens, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And, where can people find you, Martin? So if people want to reach out, man, and, get more insight on your, organization and what you're going on, man, where do people go?
Yeah, so I'm on all social media platforms. My X is kind of trash right now, but IG is big. I'll put a lot more stories on Instagram, and then Facebook has this ability to transfer, so they'll find me on Facebook as well. My website, www.wemakeamove.com, will have all of my socials listed. I'm working on putting a Spotify button on there for my podcasts. Um,
Nice.
Shit ton more content coming out right now. They're trickling out there, but again, I'm constantly posting stories on one platform that may not be on the other. I am also on TikTok, and I wasn't always this like social media person, but I'm doing my best to get there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, put myself out there a little bit more, put my cause out there. I'm on YouTube, so you'll find some long format videos for my video vlog series. That's sponsored by Care Plans for Life. They have my back, and I'm able to put out these, like, 30, 40-minute episodes where I'm engaging with people that have endured some hardcore stuff in life and are kicking ass in whatever avenue they are. And again, having these organic interactions. So hopefully the audience, and I've heard this feedback, they feel like they're there. They feel like they feel the interaction and they get it, and this
Mhm.
is the objective. So I'll continue with that. Again, my website, www.wemakeamove.com, has all the socials.
Yeah, amazing, man. It's an honor to sit down and have a chat with you, Martin. You're a remarkable individual, man, and what you've overcome. And I'll tell you what, man, this conversation fucking fired me up. I'm ready for the gym now.
Hell yeah. That's
I'm
right.
ready,
That's
bro.
right.
Yeah,
Tomorrow, 11 a.m. is February the 7th over here. It's the last day of National Burn Awareness Week. Um, Wish you were here. I'm hosting an open mat called Roll for Resilience.
that's awesome, man.
We'll have
Is this
some
at
burnt survivors.
10th Planet Las Vegas?
No, so this is going to be in my hometown. It's at a gym called Rio Bravo Jiu-Jitsu Club.
Yep.
They just had a new location. Got bigger. Their original location was in the corner of the intersection where I almost blew past a car when I got in my life-changing accident.
Mhm.
So it's kind of serendipitous. They became, my first training partners. One of my first black belt coaches was the guy that I almost ran into, and it just so happens that he coaches at that gym now.
Shit, man, that's
So it's
amazing.
it's a
Wow.
big, big circle. I'm doing this on National Burn Awareness Week at Rio Bravo Jiu-Jitsu Club with the homies, bringing together my community. We have a lot of sponsors. It would have been dope to have you out here, man.
100%, man. I haven't been to the States since 2019, but I'd love to get back there. And this podcast journey has been pretty fucking remarkable. Obviously having you on here too, and then Jordan Worth, and then some other individuals too that I've chatted with in America.
Yeah,
The jiu-jitsu community really is a small world, but it's a big community.
yeah, yep, yep,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Martin, thanks again, man. An honor to sit down and have a chat with you, dude. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for having me. Honestly, I like the way this transpired. It worked out great. It's my honor to be here. I
Nah,
appreciate you.
amazing, man. Thank you so much.